Have you ever noticed that one of the most tense scenes in Breaking Bad doesn't involve guns, explosions, or car chases? It's just a broken plate. In the third episode of the first season, this small moment becomes a turning point not only for the episode, but for Walter White as a character. And it's one of the earliest signs of the kind of show Breaking Bad is going to be. At this point in the story, Walter has already crossed a line without fully realizing it. He's cooked meth, gotten involved with criminals, and now he's keeping a man tied up in the basement of his own house. That man is Crazy 8. But it's important to remember that Walter still doesn't see himself as a villain. He's constantly trying to justify his actions, convincing himself that he's a good man doing bad things for the right reasons. That's why this scene matters so much. Walter decides to bring food to Crazy 8. It's a simple, almost kind gesture. Something normal. Something human. And then the plate slips from his hands and shatters on the floor. At first, it feels like nothing more than an accident, a minor detail. But Breaking Bad never wastes details. As Walter kneels down to pick up the pieces, he notices something unsettling. One of the shards is missing. And in that quiet moment, without dramatic music or fast cuts, everything changes. You can see it on Walter's face as the realization slowly sinks in. Crazy 8 didn't just accidentally lose a piece of the plate. He hid it. And he planned to use it as a weapon. This scene isn't really about Crazy 8. It's about Walter. For the first time, he truly understands that he's not in control. That no matter how polite or rational he tries to be, this situation is dangerous and can turn against him at any second. The broken plate becomes a perfect metaphor for Walter's life. He tried to keep things normal, to behave like an ordinary man, but the criminal world doesn't allow normality. Once you step into it, it follows you everywhere, even into your own home, even into your basement. The missing shard represents something important. It's the proof that violence has already entered Walter's life, whether he wants to admit it or not. And the way the scene is directed makes it even more powerful. The camera stays close. The pacing is slow and uncomfortable. There's no rush, no distraction. The show trusts the audience to feel the tension without being told how to feel. You know something terrible is coming, but you don't know exactly when. And that kind of suspense is much harder to create than an action scene. This is where Breaking Bad shows its confidence. It understands that silence can be more frightening than noise. When Walter finally confronts the reality of the situation, something inside him changes permanently. It's not just about killing Crazy 8. It's about the death of Walter's last moral excuse. From this moment on, he understands one simple truth: if he doesn't act, he dies. That logic becomes the foundation of everything he does afterward. The broken plate is a small object, almost insignificant on its own. But the decision that grows out of that moment is enormous. It's one of the first true steps toward the man Walter White will eventually become. Breaking Bad was never really about drugs or crime. It was always about choices, and how tiny moments can define who you are. And in this story, it all begins with a broken plate in a basement.